Grab your favorite caffeinated beverage and get cozy because you are listening to Mindful as a Mother with Paige Bruce and Lindsay Adams. This podcast is not intended to be a substitute for therapy or the therapeutic relationship, and the information given in this podcast is purely for educational purposes and is not intended to replace the advice of a professional.
I had to burp. Hi, and welcome back to Mindful as a Mother. This is Paige, and I'm here with
Lindsay.
And today we are rocking and talking about summer.
And summer sanity, which I think is so important because summer is a really stressful time for parents.
Yes. So we're going to cover some fun, really inexpensive activities you could do to fill some of your space and give some structure. And then we're also going to cover how to have a successful summer with your Nero-spicy.
Yeah. So do we want to do activities first or Nero-spicy?
Nero-spicy.
Okay. So I'm just going to share some of like the tips and tricks that I see as being important for neurodivergent kiddos in the summer. And one of them is to have a routine still in place. It doesn't have to be the same or as strict as your school year routine, but making sure that there is some kind of semblance of a morning and evening routine for these kids, specifically like bookends to their day. It really helps provide some structure for them, and it is really good for them to like have an idea of what they're going to do that day and have some level of expectation. So like maybe they do a chore, maybe they get a certain amount of screen time, maybe they have reading stuff to do over the summer or tutoring, just making sure that is, the expectations and the structure of that is really clear. It doesn't need to be rigid, but it just needs to be there.
Yeah, I agree. And when we say structure or we say routine, I really like to just say flow, because I am a flow person.
Yeah.
That's part of what I struggle with in being Nero-spicy, is doing the same thing at the same time every day. I cannot. I can last maybe 3 days and then I full on rebel against myself, which is maybe PDA against me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like a flow. So for an example, in our family, what we had to do was we adapted our flow to like what felt more natural to their sleep cycles. Like I want them to go to bed at 7:30 still, but the sun's up later. We don't have any obligations in the mornings. And so we adapted that. We changed our evening flow to go to bed later and get up earlier and then have a very slow morning.
Yeah, I love that. I also have more of like a flow in my life. Like we do the same things, but not always at the same times or in the same order. And it's been helpful to have like the kids this year be aware of like the things that they need to do in the morning. And then I let them choose because of like the autonomy piece, like what thing they want to do first. So that's really helpful. The other tip I have for summer with neurodivergent kids is to manage the level of overstimulation and activities. Summer is so fun. There's so much fun stuff to do, but it can be very overstimulating and draining for everyone, but especially these kiddos. And we need to be like in tune with where they're at so that we can add support or relaxation or whatever they need in that moment.
Exactly. Just to be slow. And I think that that's a big one for us, which is why I personally recognized in myself that I needed a slower morning with the kids. And so what that looks like is we limit the things that we have to do before a certain time. Like our morning is there are no demands or obligations until later in the afternoon if we do that. And then I also cut back on all of their summer activities. So like any day that I have the opportunity to keep them home from camp or childcare, I will. And then it's like a free choice day outside of what our normal, like you need personal hygiene, right?
Yeah.
In the morning and in the evening, but the rest is free choice.
Yeah. And I think, so then there's the balance to this. So you also don't want your kids to be understimulated, specifically your neurodivergent kids. So like and I'm not saying it's bad to have days where there are like movie watching, relaxing all day, but you don't want that to be all day, every day. And it needs to be like more of an intentional thing and seeing how it reacts with your kids. So, and like being aware of what time of day is best for them to have stimulation. What is too much stimulation? What is not enough stimulation? What activities maybe seem relaxing but are overstimulating, and vice versa. So just to add into that, like managing the stimulation level is really important.
I agree. And when I'm talking like slow free choice day, there's days when I need like low demand. And so there's a lot of screens. And I recognize that in them. Like if we've gone really hard for 2-3 days of summer camp because I'm working, so they're gone and they're doing activities, they're with their peers, we're not getting home till like 6 o'clock at night, all the things, right? So then I'll do like a low day where we're just like free choice, like we do screens, whatever I feel like I need. We kind of just snack all day, like I'm not doing formal meals. And then there's lower stimulation or free choice days where I limit screens and I spend much more time outside, like connecting with nature is really what they're into right now, or playing with their toys, those types of things.
Yeah. And this gets tricky when you have a neurodiverse family because then you're trying to like meet everyone's needs. So I just want to remind you that this isn't going to be perfect, and it's most important, and I know this sounds backwards, but it really is truly important to take your needs into consideration first, because if you are not regulated and your needs are not met, you cannot meet your child's needs. Like it just won't happen. Yeah. So making sure that you're and balancing between children can be tricky. So just do the best you can. There's no perfect way to do it, and you can't do it wrong. Just adapt.
Yeah. You can't ever do it wrong. You can't ever do summer wrong.
No.
Okay.
Let's talk about the fun stuff. Okay.
So we have a free resource guide with a couple of low cost activities that we made last year that we love. I love it. Do you love it? Okay. You have to love it. You don't have a choice.
No, I do love it.
We love it.
Yeah. It's very helpful. And I am like, so I want to do fun things with my kids, but I'm like, the executive function piece is hard for me. We've talked about this. So like I have a hard time like planning, like what should I do, thinking about it, making the decisions. And so this is really nice because I can just look at it and be like, I'm going to pick one of these things and do it.
Yeah. So they don't cost a lot of money. They're very simple activities. They allow for some quality one-on-one time. So all those parts of like keeping lower stimulation, but still quality time and taking advantage of the time that you get.
Yeah.
And so the first one is a Luca Themed Family Night. Do you remember the movie Luca?
I love that. My kids love that.
We love it. I know the new Little Mermaid came out. There's going to be like a teen Kraken and Mermaid movie coming out. So you can really do any kind of like water theme, but for this purpose it's a Luca. So we have a Luca themed family movie night, which we like to do family movie nights anyways. And so in this PDF we talk about a dinner. So we have our favorite pasta because Luca is Italian, right? They're in the Mediterranean, and they talk a lot about pasta. And so we love spaghetti and meatballs. So for dinner we do like a themed dinner. And then I do like a little dessert, which is ocean fish jello. So it's just, or you can even do, because again, Italian, it's stationed there. You can do like gelato, just like gelato. Yeah. Or you can make blue jello with like the Swedish fish.
Yeah. Or the gummy sharks.
Yes. And then just like a blue ocean drink, which is just like a blue drink.
So cool.
Is that blue lemonade?
And my kids love a dump dinner. I did it one time around Christmas, and now they ask about it like once a month. And so I was thinking like pasta. This is like a good dump dinner. Yes. Like if you want to just, what a dump dinner is, if you don't know, is you get like a plastic tablecloth, or some people use tinfoil, anything to cover your table. Please cover your table because it'll be a disaster if you don't. And it's easier to clean up with something disposable, not something you want to wash. And you like tape it on your table, and then you like dump the pasta on the table, and the kids eat without plates, right? And my kids love that. So they love, like, I did the pasta, and then I did like pasta and sauce in one, because I have some kids that like sauce and some kids that don't. And then I just set the bread on there, and I set Caesar salad on there, and it's also like really easy dinner to make.
Yeah. So easy.
Yeah.
So that's it. And then there's a link on our PDF, and I'll put this in the show notes, so go into the show notes. But there's a link on our PDF that will take you to, if you want to be extra, it's like a Pinterest thing with all the free resources to be extra, but you also don't have to.
Okay.
So we do our Luca themed dinner and dessert, and we watch our Luca movie, and maybe even that day we went swimming.
Love it.
Or like did some kind of water
Yeah.
play. Okay. Puffy sidewalk paint. Have you ever made it?
I think I made it once last year. I haven't made it this year.
Okay, I am a big, messy, creative expression parent. I love it. I love glitter. I love that it's all over the house and on me for years. Like, love it. So Puffy sidewalk paint is super easy and fun to do. And this, in our PDF, we give you a recipe to make it. And it's only 4 ingredients, and it takes about 5 minutes to mix it together. And I have done all of these. Like, I tried and true to all of these.
I'm like refreshing myself
together. But so you can use squeeze bottles, or you can just like use a paintbrush. It's whatever. But I like the little squeezy bottles, and so I put a link on Amazon of where you can get these little 16-ounce squeeze bottles. You need a mixing bowl and a rubber spatula. And the ingredients are just flour, water, Dawn dish soap, or any dish soap, a tablespoon of it. I just like Dawn. And then food coloring for the color you want.
Love it.
A cup of water, a cup of flour, a tablespoon of dish soap, and then color it. And you stir. So you stir the base together, which is the flour and water and dish soap, and then you divide it and then color it. Mm-hmm. And that's it.
I love it.
And then it just washes off.
My kids also are very into like the science experiment phase because we got like a little science kit for Christmas. And so they're always asking to do a science experiment. And they know that like food color is usually a part of that. So like this could be like a double, like this is like arts and crafts and science experiment.
Oh yeah.
So totally. It's like we'll make it together and then we go outside and we do the paint and then.
Yeah.
So
and these are all really inexpensive, like one-on-one activities.
Yeah.
And I have 3 kids. Lindsay has 3 kids. And so when we did the Luca Themed Night, each kid helped me prep a different portion of the dinner, and then we did a lot of activities together. Same thing, they get to create their favorite color.
Yeah.
And then we share all of it, but they get to make their favorite color of the
I love
paint.
That's cute.
And okay, so speaking of science experiments, the next one is giant bubbles.
Oh, I like that one.
I use this one all the time. I make, those old, like sweet tea containers, sun tea that you would put on with the spout. I make a lot of bubbles. And then we just use the spout to put it into different containers.
Oh, that's such a good idea. I'll have to try that.
So they have one on Lakeshore Learning. They have like a bubble kit where it has its own little dispenser, but I just use my sweet tea container.
Yeah, so like I never use that. Oh, I rarely use the sweet tea container.
Me too. And it's so easy. I made one when the kids had like a little get together. They had a play date and they played in the pool. And then I did like a huge thing of the bubbles. And they each had just like a little Tupperware that they'd squeeze it into. And then they played with bubbles, and they could refill their own bubbles, which is part of the annoying part of bubbles, is having to refill bubbles.
Yeah.
As an adult, I don't like to refill their bubble containers.
Well, and I got like a jug of bubble stuffy. So even if you do buy the jug, you could just dump it in here. And we took it camping, and I was letting them refill it, and they just spilled it all over the table, which was like, then it's just like a bubbly mess.
And then it's like everywhere and it's wasted, but then it has a little dispenser, so I love that. But giant bubble mix is actually really, really easy. And so you use dish detergent, so like Dawn dish soap and cold water. And in my thing, it has corn syrup, but I've tried a lot of different ones. And if you have a pharmacy near you, you can get something called vegetable glycerin. And you only use like a tablespoon of it. And so it lasts for a really long time. It was like $13 to buy the bottle of it. It's like 16-ounce bottle. And we still have it. And I make it all the time. But that's, speaking of science, vegetable glycerin or corn syrup or the sugar is what helps the stability of the structure of the bubbles. That's why they're able to make giant bubbles. So I have in here a 1/4 cup of dish soap, Dawn dish soap.
Dawn, sponsor us. I love Dawn.
Power
wash. Dawn Power Wash. Can we talk about that? Well, maybe we'll do a cleaning episode. Just kidding. But yeah.
Oh, we could go off all day on cleaning hacks. Okay, so a 1/4 cup of dish soap, 3/4 cup cold water, and then 5 drops of corn syrup. And then you can also just make like larger batches by multiplying the ingredients, which is what I do. Anyway, so just put them all in, shake it up, and that's it. You're ready to blow giant bubbles.
Love it.
And if you let it sit overnight, it helps stabilize the structure even more. So like if you make it the night before.
Yeah.
Okay. And I love that.
Now I know what I'm doing tonight.
Colored bubbles. You can do
bubbles.
food coloring in the giant bubble. Okay. And then lastly, edible bubbles.
Oh, this is a Jolly Rancher situation.
This is a Jolly Rancher
I love this one. This is my favorite. This is my favorite tip on the whole activity on the whole sheet, just so y'all know.
You can have an entire bubble day, like a Luca day, and then include bubbles because Luca also has water. But here, so edible bubbles. You need a paper plate, Jolly Ranchers, and straws. Okay, Lindsay, and then tell them how you do it.
I can't remember. I gotta read the.
So you pick your favorite Jolly Ranchers and then you unwrap them, put them on the paper plate.
Not the purple ones. You microwave them, right?
Yeah, and then you just microwave them. It has to be the hard Jolly Rancher candies, sugar candies. You microwave
like the
it.
OG Jolly Rancher. No, like fancy gummy Jolly Rancher shit.
Gummy stuff.
No, sorry for my swearing. I'm really trying to work on that. But
so you melt them in the microwave until it's melted but not burnt, so like 30, 45 seconds. And then go ahead.
Stick the straw in, blow the bubble, eat the bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I love this.
You can put the straw in it, and it's basically like glass blowing, but you're sugar blowing.
Yeah, and it's so fun. The kids think it's so fun, and they love to like eat the candy afterwards. We did some at Easter time. We did some like Peeps, like microwave stuff and like experiments, and they thought it was so fun to try the different kinds. So the bubble thing is also like so cool to them.
So those are just some inexpensive, like fun activities that you could do with your kids for the summer.
And the thing I love about all of these, like with the exception of maybe the Luca night, which requires a little more planning, is these are pretty short activities too. Because as a mom who works during the summer, and I have every intention in the world of like not working as much, and it just hasn't happened, and that's okay, right? But it allows me to still feel like I'm getting that like really quality one-on-one time and doing these really fun summer activities that can happen in like 45 minutes, right? Which is like a reasonable window of time.
Yep, exactly. And that's my favorite part. And even the Luca Themed Family Night, it just feels fancy because it's themed. But it's like, I make spaghetti all the time.
And you have to make dinner. You got to feed these damn kids anyway.
I'm going to make spaghetti and then watch this movie. And ta-da! Like, now we're fancy. And even if you just buy a bag of Swedish fish, boom, done.
My kids love a popcorn movie night. Like, they get like... They think that is the best thing ever. And sometimes for Tim and I, like when we're exhausted, that's our go-to, because it's like they think it's the coolest thing and we are just wrecked. Like, okay, that I can, yes, I would love to watch this.
And I
movie with you.
Like little like Swedish fish, and they each have a bowl of popcorn, and I put some Swedish fish in it. So like candy and popcorn and watch a movie.
I love that. I think that's all.
That's all. So hopefully we can help you stay sane this summer with our Summer Sanity PDF. If you want any of these recipes or ideas, go to our show notes. The link will be in there, and it's totally free download. Thanks for coming to Mindful as a Mother podcast. If you'd like more of us and Mindful as a Mother, you can find Paige at Instagram at Parenting with Paige, and Lindsay at Linz_Adams LCSW. Find us on TikTok, Instagram, and in our Facebook group, Creating Community and Smashing Parental Stigma, Embracing Mindful Motherhood and Positive Parenting. Thanks so much, and see you next time.